This is a video about how to do the chi-square test of independence in PSPP. For the chi-square test of independence, we have two variables and we want to figure out if they're independent from each other. So the null hypothesis is the variables are independent, and the alternative hypothesis is that they are dependent. So if the observed count deviates substantially from the expected count, we can say that they're related, that they're dependent, because we're going to get a significant chi-square. And note that the degrees of freedom are number of categories in the rows minus 1 times number of categories in the columns minus 1. So let's go to PSPP. And contrary to your intuition, probably, the chi-square for independence is not in the non-parametric test for chi-squares, but actually you can find it under descriptives by the cross tabs. Because what we're doing is we're doing a cross tabulation of two variables, so you can also do more, but we'll just do two, of socioeconomic status, for example, in the rows, and then reading categories. So we want to see if reading achievement is dependent or independent from socioeconomic status. Now we can choose the statistics here, chi-square, it's actually already checkmarked, and we go into the cells. You get here the count, and then you get the percentage in the rows, percentage in the columns, and percentage total. I'm gonna uncheck these because it's quite a lot of information, and we're just going to go with count and expected. So hit continue and OK, and here is our result. So you see here cross tabs, table SCS by the T1 categories for the reading tests, and the statistics is the chi-square. So first you see that the total number of valid cases is 167, and then we have the table that before you have made these tables yourselves, right? You have one variable, socioeconomic status, low status, medium, and high status, and then for the reading test we have four categories, 1, 2, 3, 4. So lower achievement and then higher achievement here. You see here the total for low status is 62, medium status 48, and high status 57, for a total of 167. And then for each category in the reading test, there's like 42, 42, 42, and 41. So there's almost the equal expectations for each of these categories. And that's because I made these categories based on the percentiles. So this is the bottom 25%, 25 to 50%, 50% to 75%, then 75% to 100%. Now, what you see here on the top is the actual observed counts. So of the 62 students with a low socioeconomic status background, we have 24 that are low achievers in the reading test, 16 are from 25 to 50%, 12 are from 50 to 75, and 10 are from 75 to 100. Below you see the expected frequencies, right? So we would expect about 15 in each category here. So we see there's the low status, we expected 15, but we observed 24. Here for the second category we expected 16, and we almost we observed 16 and we expected about 16. In the third category we observed 12, but we expected 16, so we're a little bit below here. And then in the highest one we observed 10, but we expected 15. So you could see that in the low status we actually observe more people than expected in the lowest category, and less people than expected in the highest category. For the medium status, we can see that we're expecting about 12 in each category, and we actually also observe pretty similar amounts. So we observe 13, we expected 12, observe 13, expected 12, observe 14, expected 12, and then we observe 8, but here also we really expected a little bit higher. So we can see a tendency that the reading seems to be related somehow to the socioeconomic status. So when we look at the high status now, we see the opposite example, right? We expected 14, but we observed 5. Here in the second one, we expected 14, we only observed 13. Then here we observed 16, although we only observed expected 14. And then in the highest category, we expected 23, although we only observed 14. So you can see that higher reading, higher status is related to higher reading scores, and lower status is related to lower reading scores. So we could say that just based on frequency here, there seems to be a relationship. These two variables are not independent from each other. And now our statistical test, right, the chi-square, the Pearson chi-square, gives us a chi-square value of 21 with 6 degrees of freedom. Now again, how did we get that? It was, remember, the rows minus 1, so 3 minus 1, times the columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, so 3. So 2 times 3 gives us these 6 degrees of freedom. And then if we go and look at our chi-square distribution, that is a highly significant chi-square value. So the observed values are significantly different from the expected value. So we conclude that there is a dependency between those two variables.